Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And I'm going to go over to Genesis chapter 6, verse 11. It says, the earth also was corrupt before the Most High, and the earth was filled with violence. And the Most High looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And the Most High said unto Noah, the end of flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. And this is shortly before Yahweh would flood the earth and wipe out every living creature with the exception of the 8 souls that he allowed to survive. And as it says in verse 11, it says the earth was filled with violence. And that's what's going on in the earth right now. As you're seeing wars, you're seeing rumors of wars. You're hearing of rumors of wars. And not only that, we see violence amongst the people in different neighborhoods. And just like before the flood, because there was so much corruption, people were so corrupt. In the days of Noah, it's that way again. All right, and you're seeing all kind of violence taking place right now. Like I said, you see wars going on. And not only that, someone was telling me, and I wasn't there to witness this, but someone was telling me about 2 young men who were having, I guess they were fighting amongst themselves. I guess they were having some difference of opinions, and had some encounters. But on this given day, I guess they were familiar with each other. They knew each other, and I don't know if it was a situation of one trying to bully the other, but one of the 2 young men told his mother about it, what was going on. And after some time, I guess there was some type of get together or some kind of party or something at the one young man's house that had told his mother about the disagreement that he was having with the other young man. So this young man's mother called the other young man over to her house that her son was having a disagreement with. And mind you, when she called him over to her house, her son wasn't even there, all right, at whatever this gathering was. So this other young man pulls up and I guess was having words with the mother. She confronted him about him having a disagreement or going back and forth with her son. And just as I said, her son wasn't even there. He wasn't present for this. And the young man that she had called over to her house in order to confront, he had gotten out of his car, and mind you, he did not enter into her house, and as the story was told to me, he didn't even enter into her yard. But she went down and approached this young man, and the outcome was that she stabbed him in the chest. She pulled out a butcher knife, stabbed him in the chest, and that as a result of that use of that knife, it hit his heart, cut part of his, it punctured his heart. So he had gone to the hospital, but he didn't make it. All right, the bleeding was just too bad. There was nothing they could do. So, as it turns out, this mother had been charged, and this has happened recently. Okay, where the stabbing happened last year. His mother had finally gone to court and was found guilty of murder, stabbing this young man in the heart. And he was a so-called black man. So she goes to court and gets, the outcome of that sentencing was that she ended up getting 14 years. A 14-year sentence. And mind you, she murdered this young man. And it just goes, I was kind of thinking about how is it that she only gets 14 years? I mean, rightfully so, she murdered him. She took a life. Her life should be taken in exchange. But she gets 14 years, and it seems as though the so-called black man's life is just, to this system is nothing. All right. Yeah, 14 years is a good amount of time, but that's not what she should receive. She should receive her life being taken as well. All right. It just goes to show you that in this system, they don't care about the so-called black man. His life is just it's like almost like it's nothing. And just as the world was filled with the violence and corrupt individuals in the days of Noah, it's the same way it is now. It's violence, and it seems like I said, it seems like the so-called black man's life is nothing. I mean, it happens on a regular, and people get sentenced, and just depending upon what the situation is, it seems like a lot of times these people get sentenced to, they don't get the right sentence. They get, after a certain amount of time, they're allowed to come right out of prison. And they themselves, lives are being spared. Even, I'm not talking about in instances of self-defense, or when somebody's entering into your property or trying to break into your house or rob you or putting your life in danger. I'm talking about murder. That's what she did. She murdered him. So I was just meditating on that, on how the outcome of that thing was. It's like his life was meant nothing. Imagine what his family feels like. She could just come up off of her porch and approach him and murder him, and the outcome is nothing. It's like just a few years in prison, and then she gets to go out and continue to live her life if that's the way Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai sees that it would be for her. She'll come out and she will be punished for what she's done, even if that's not the outcome where she comes out of prison. Or Lord willing, we won't be around here in 14 years. But I just wanted to go over to Matthew. Chapter 24. Dropping down to verse 37, and this is in the red letter, so this is Yahweh Shai speaking. It says, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." So that's the times that we're living in right now. We're in those end days, those end times, those last days, and we're seeing the same type of violence that was in at Noah's time. We're seeing that same thing going on right now, the same type of violence, same type of corrupt individuals. It says, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day of Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." So people are engaging in the same activities, engaging in the same violence, engaging in the same folly as in the time of Noah. They're doing that same thing right now, and the day of the Lord is gonna sneak right up on them. Now, I'm not saying that this woman won't repent, but this woman, as it was told to me, that this woman sitting in court, she wasn't sorry, she wasn't remorseful for what she did. It's almost like her attitude was like, I'll do it again. If the situation was the same, I would do it again. I would protect my son. And here she didn't know how it could have been resolved between the two sons, but he went to his mother to tell her about it, and her, and being a violent individual, wants to take in that masculine role, wants to try to look out for her son. Here she took another man's life, murdered him. So, just like in the days of Noah, that's the same type of attitude, the same type of individuals are walking around on this earth today. I'm going to go to 2 Peter chapter 2. I think that's where I want to go. Yeah, I'm going to go 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 4. It says, "For if the Most High spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment." And these angels just means messengers, all right? And a messenger could be man, It says, verse 5, it says, "And spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly." And that's how the day of the Lord is going to come, because there's some people that hear the word, they hear the word of the brothers that's out on the highways and the hedges, that's bringing out the truth, the 100% truth, men of great millstone, and it just they walk right by and don't even hear it, pay it no attention, or they're just or they listen until they hear something that they don't want to hear, that they're in total disagreement with, and then they just say, well, that's the way it was before. That ain't the way it was. That's not the way it is now. People go to jail and get sentenced and instead of life being, when a person's murdered, their life has been being taken also. You know, if things were that way in these times right now, there would probably be a whole lot less murder going on. People knew, instead of just going to jail and living out their days, that their life would be taken also. You know, you have people who go, like this woman being sentenced to 14 years and then be eligible to be paroled. But if people knew that if they murder someone, that their life is required, that they have to they have to be taken out of this place also, it would probably change a whole lot. You know, it would change the system a whole lot. You wouldn't have so many people sitting in prison, living off people's taxpayers' money, being part of this system, because it's this whole system that is corrupt. All right, because it's like a perpetual thing. It not only pays those people who own these prisons, but you know, because they get to have free labor. You know, so they love, like, that's one reason why a man's life just is nothing to them, because it's just, they see it as one more person being put into the system, and helps with their return on their investment. This is free labor for them. So this system is just a corrupt system, because it not only prolongs the life of a murderer, but it also has people who had nothing to do with it supporting these people while they sit in prison, making money for those people who've invested into these prisons, into this system. So it's a whole corrupt system in itself. Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59 verse 14. I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, "Our courts oppose the righteous, and justice is nowhere to be found. Truth stumbles in the streets, and honesty has been outlawed." So, like I said, this whole system is corrupt, because it's like they are preying upon those people. Well, first of all, you got neighborhoods, you got people who are just packed on top of one another, and experiencing what we are experiencing in this world, with the way violence is just at an all-time high, because you got violence amongst nations, you got violence within the neighborhoods, because you got people that's all just right on top of one another, so they prey upon one another because the proximity is so close. And you have people who are homeless, you have people who are jobless, you have people who are desperate. And what do when people are desperate? They turn to violence a lot of times, and they turn and prey upon one another. So this system is designed so that you end up preying upon that person that's in close proximity to you, and either you get away with it, or more than likely, with the way cameras are all over the place, something's gonna pick it up. Someone's gonna turn you in. Someone's gonna find you, and whether you did that shit, you did something in an effort to protect yourself, or you did something in a rage, or you did something in a moment where your judgment was off. This system is designed to keep those people who are in positions where they are destitute or they're desperate. They prey upon one another, and what does it do? It's like a system where, especially in certain areas where it's poverty, it's like a fast track from either you're going to do something in the streets that's going to either get you killed or it's going or get you murdered. Salakia, get you murdered, or you're going to do something in an effort for survival, and it can get you sent to prison, whether it be you stealing out of a store just so you can have something to eat, or whether you rob somebody or murder somebody just trying to survive. So the system is kind of designed to keep those who are in that position where they're being destitute or being desperate just to live from day to day. It's like this system is kind of designed for you to do something drastic that you might, that you will regret later, and get you involved and get you into a system. In Isaiah 59 and verse 14, it says, in the KJV, it says, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off. For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. And I wanted to look at this word equity. And it is H5229. Let's see, and it's under the biblical usage. It says straight in front, or to be in front, to be straight, right, straightness. Under the Strong's definition, it says straightforwardness. That's what equity is, straightforwardness. Having integrity, it says, or a truth. Uprightness. So that's what equity is, and that's what's lacking in this system. It's equity. 2 Timothy chapter 3. And this won't be very long. I just have, actually this will be the last one that I'll bring out, because I just wanted to speak on that story that I was told about mama going and just stabbing a young man and murdering him. But this is 2 Timothy chapter 3. Verse 1, it says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's what we're in. We're in the last days. I wanted to look up this word perilous also. And it is G5467. And the word is, in the Greek, is kalepos. Perilous, it says under the biblical usage, it says hard to do, to take, to approach, hard to bear, troublesome, or dangerous, harsh, fierce, savage. And we're living in some harsh time. We're living in perilous times right now, troublesome times, dangerous times. All right. You can even no telling what would have happened if somebody else had seen what was going on and would have tried to step in and intervene. in an effort to try to protect this young man. Who knows what that mother would have done with that knife, because she was in a fit right there at that moment. No telling how many people she might have stabbed if some bystander would have been just there, tried to stop it. So these are dangerous times. So when you see something like that, what do you do? If it don't involve you, you don't jump in it. You don't get involved in it. Only thing you can do is maybe, and I say maybe because you don't even want to be in the vicinity. You call the police. Under the Strong's definition of this word perilous, it says through the idea of reducing the strength, difficult. It says dangerous, furious, fierce, perilous. That's what these times are. These are fierce, perilous times. Verse 2 says, For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. It says without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High. And that's the times that we're living in right now. So just like in the days of Noah before the flood, we have those same souls walking about, perpetrating the same things, doing the same things, doing the same evils. The times are we're in perilous times right now, and those same evils that existed in the earth are back again. And that's why this place has to be cleansed. This place has to be destroyed, because this is only the beginning, and it's going to get a whole lot worse. You're going to hear a whole lot more about murderous behavior and even worse. But I'm going to leave it there. I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh, Shalom.